Alright, hey VC, it's John, Bipbopboom back again. And I've been away I went on vacation with the family, then I've been sick, and then I've just been working and family stuff, so I haven't had time to do much of anything. I was a little behind with videos and comments, but I've been catching up and watching videos. And I'm just going to show you, I didn't do a lot of record shopping on vacation, but I did get a fairly cool haul, at least for me. And let's start off what we listen to. We listen to Running Wild, Brandon and Exile. What is it? I forget what year this is, like 85. Oh, 85. And there's the inner sleeve. Running Wild, second record. And it kind of fits with some of the music I got, because I snagged some German stuff and whatever. So I went to one shop and they had a whole bunch of metal records, and I was pretty thrilled to see them all in one place. It felt like the 90s again to see all these records, and it looked like they were sitting on the shelves for like a year or two. Some of them had the price sticker from 2013, so it was like no one had gone through that store. If they did, they didn't take everything. But I'll start off with Pandemonium. I never had this band, and this is from Metal Blade Records, and this is 83. This is the first record. And now I think of them as like the Alaskan Beach Boys. I wonder if this is too loud. Let me turn it down a half. Well, anyway, I mean, it's a decent record. I'm very happy because it's, you know, historically important. I remember this band, and they're one of the few Alaska bands. And it's got the inner sleeve lyrics. You know, it's just heavy metal. Like, they have that mix of like hardcore, like real heavy metal, and then like the hair metal, the commercial mixed in, and they don't really know what they're doing. They're a little isolated, but they got a lot of the vocals are really good. They have I think they're three brothers. It's like the Beach Boys. They got three brothers and maybe a cousin or a neighbor. And anyway, they got like they sing harmonies and stuff. It's pretty good. And then this is the second record, which was right next to it, Hole in the Sky, and this would be from 85 also on Metal Blade. And I've got the inner lyrics and whatnot. And this is what they look like. Look a little more glammed out. It's so record. I mean, it's good metal. I'm real happy to have them. I think they only put out the two. Or if they put out a later one, but I don't care about that. But they do a cover called Boys in the Bright White Sports Car, and I don't know the original. I looked it up. I think it's band Trooper from Canada. But it's really catchy in a weird way with the hooky chorus and everything. But then it goes into this other track. It doesn't go into, but the next track is Imprisoned by Snow. And that is a absolutely fantastic track. It just blows the album away. But that one song, Imprisoned by Snow, if it's on YouTube or something, I think it's fantastic. And being their Alaskan band, the lyrics are pretty good. It reminds me, it doesn't sound like it, but it reminds me of like Trapped Under Ice by that Metallica band. But it's a killer track, and I'm glad to have these. And I also snagged Avenger 2. I think there was another Avenger that had some sort of issue. Killer Elite. And this is Neat Records 85. It's a little late for the new wave of British heavy metal, and you can hear some Nwobhm in there, and a little like mid-80s British or more modern sound, but the production is just still terrible Neat Records. It sounds like it just sounds like a Venom production over what should be like a mid-80s heavy metal band. So I got the lyrics. Either way, you don't really see these in the wild, so I was pretty happy in Neat Records Avenger. And the vocalist is Ian Swift. What's his name? Ian Davidson Swift. And he was the gets very confusing, but he was, I think, the second singer for Satan, not the one who did the demos. I think he was on the 245s. He was the singer from the Courtney Act record, and they put out a first record called Blood Sports, which had Brian Ross singing, if I remember right, and they swapped singers. Brian Ross is on, scratch that. I see how this is confusing. Brian Ross is on Courtney Act, if I remember. And whatever, he sang on the one after, Death Sentence maybe. And but anyway, they swapped. So he went to Avenger, and Brian Ross went to Satan. But it's confusing. But I'm happy to have another neat records to fill the holes. But I can't say it's a great record, but it's definitely a timepiece, and it's got that terrible, actually a little worse than some of the neat records production, especially considering this is 85. I hope you can hear me. I feel like I'm shouting and I got a sore throat and all. Alright, I picked up Sauron. This is the Legacy, and this is 85, and it's a German. It says German band when I looked it up. It's the label's German. They have German names, but the publishing's from Switzerland, so it's tough if they were like on the border or whatever. But pretty decent record. I can hear a little bit of German in there, but it still has a very British metal sound. Nothing stands out, but it's a solid metal record. It sounds like 83. It's 85, but it sounds like 83. It's pretty standard stuff, but it's heavy metal. It's good. There's no crap on it. I mean, they're not the most professional band, but it's straight up metal, and the songs are just standard metal. Dance on Fire, Dust and Diamonds, Black Magic Mystery, Straight from Hell, Born by the Sun. Just good metal, and I don't really know this one. Earthshaker. And then I got White Cross, which is a Christian band, and it's an EP. And I think they're from Orange County, maybe. They're, what's it, Tennessee? I can't remember now. But of course, it's got the lyrics. And this is from 88, so it's a little late for me. Oh, they're from, management's from Allentown, Illinois. I'm sure now that you said this, Scott, you're not even looking at the lyrics. There's the lyrics. The funny thing about this is the EP, it's got 4 tracks, and it's the same 4 tracks on both sides on the Pure Metal label. It's kind of weird they didn't do 3 tracks on one side, 2 on the other, or leave one side blank, or just I remember they did it on cassettes, like Repeat the Program, but on a record, I don't know if I have any records that repeats the program, maybe on like a 7-inch single or something. But anyway, it sounds a lot like Rack. Not terrible, but I think the last 2 songs were stronger, but it sounds like, 84 Rack. But I'll just throw that in with the Christian metal stuff. Then I grabbed Blade Runner's second album, I believe their last record, Warriors of Rock. And it's Ebony Records. And I don't think they ever have, there's nothing in here. And, what is this, 86. So it's a little late for, I guess it's getting late for Ebony Records. And it definitely has that Ebony sound where every band sounds like the Grim Reaper or Chateau record, the production. It all sounds the same from Ebony, or just about. But it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that kind of echoey room, vocals and drums. Decent record. Just basic run-of-the-mill, new wave of British heavy metal, although it's getting late. And the cover's just pretty terrible. And you can tell the guy that did the artwork, this was supposed to be the cover. Blade Runner, Warriors of Rock, but someone must have said, hey, we can't read the logo, or it doesn't matter. Oh, we'll take care of that at the pressing. And they just put this bad font. and just wrote the same thing, so it's kind of redundant, but that's the record. But the thing about Blade Runner, I didn't get this. I had this. This is the first record, and that glare. But this is one of the greatest album covers. This is probably 84. I don't know. I'm not gonna look it up, but oh, that darn glare. The good band. I think they lost the guitarist on the second record, although there's 2 guitars on it. And I can't remember. I listened to this again. I can't even remember which one's better, but the covers. This is a good record to get. Maybe the second record is produced better, if I remember. And I got this only because it's 99 cents. And I don't think I have it. No inner sleeve, but what's it? Restless? No, Mercury. And so I don't know if it even had one, but it doesn't matter. 99 cents. Then I got Trance. And, no, actually, sorry. I got this record, Trance, Power and Fusion. And I never had this one. And this is German band, Trance. And this is fantastic. This record is killer. It's basically like a Scorpions Jr. It's got the inner lyrics. And really good. It's got the drumming isn't so good. It's like Ramones drumming. They'll have like a Scorpion tune, but then like with the straight like 4/4 Ramones drumming. So it's kind of funny, but they're pretty good. But I always had the first Trance record, and I love the idea of their mascots and arm. You know, a lot of people have like demons or whatever skulls is their mascot. We got the arm, and this is Breakout, the first record, and this isn't that good. I need to revisit again. I listened to it, but the production's a bit primitive. The playing's a little more primitive, but I love the back shot. German band, all 4 members with mustaches, which is just great, and you can tell they went to like the local photography studio or like a Sears, and they just pulled down the shade and they got behind it, and he's sitting in a chair, not a heavy metal chair, just the same chair like your grandmother would sit in for the family shoot there, or the mom, or and the dad and the kids. But there it is. The interesting thing about these is they're competent players and good singers, but the songwriters, they have 2 songwriters who wrote all their songs. I believe both of these records. It's my, all the songs are written by 2 guys who are not in the band. So it's like, these guys, well, they weren't the managers, but how do you write 2 songs if you're not in the band and like explain to them, okay, because they're complex songs. It's not like writing a punk song. Here you go, buddy. You know, these are the riffs. It's got to change here, this and that. So they got to be in the studio with them or the practice space, like going over these songs. It's pretty interesting that both these albums were written by 2 guys, like the Chin and Chapman of German metal or something. But absolutely great record. I've always known about it. I didn't know how good it was. And I got their 3rd album, which may be their last one, or at least last one, and I've not revisited this. This will be from like 86. Lyrics. And I will put this on Rockport Records. But it was nice to fill that hole and then get an absolutely great record. And going on, I also got, I guess it's Bodine, but I always call him Bodine. And this is Bold as Brass, the 2nd album by this Dutch band. And this is really good too. Not as good as that Trance record, but do I have anything in here? Nothing in here. But it's good. The singer is Madman Axel. They're all silly names, but he doesn't look like a very good singer. Like, he doesn't look that great, but he definitely overcompensates. Makes his voice much more gruffer than he looks. He's just a kind of skinny nerd guy. But this is a good record. They had one before this I don't have. I don't know how good it is, but I would like to get that. And I always had the 3rd record, Bodine 3. And there they are. They're a little more dressed up. And there's the singer. Looks like his His hair grew out a little. We got the necktie. And this one's pretty good. And they went to their real names. If you look at the first album, they got like silly names, Iron Air. Well, it doesn't really matter. I got that. They picked this record up also. This was $7.99, and I don't know this record so well, but I saw Ruin Martin's show this, and it's thrash metal, and I think it's 1990, so it's a little past my time when I collect. But I hate this cover. It doesn't even look like a heavy metal cover. I don't know what it is. I don't like the name of the band, Mesro. I think of Mesro, the jazz guy or something. But it's 1990, and these guys are doing like 1986, 87 thrash, and they're Swedish, so of course, great imitators, but fantastic thrash metal record, and lyrics on the other side. But it's solid. The riffs are good, active records, and you can understand the vocals. It's not like over the top, but it's solid, it's powerful, aggressive. And it's a real score. I'm happy for the thrash genre. This one's a standout record. Then I picked up this Viva record, which is funny because that Jake, who has a vinyl community channel too, which you should check out, he just showed this record. And then, golly gee, someone just showed their like second record or something. This is Viva from Germany. What the hell is going on? And the reason I always wanted this, besides the fantastic cover, was it's got Barbara Schenker, Michael and Rudolph's sister, and she plays keyboards, which are pretty bad. Pretty bad. They just go over the songs here and there, and it's not a great tone. But it's interesting, and I'm not sure. Mine doesn't have an inner sleeve, but I almost feel like there should be an inner sleeve because they thank someone for photos, I think. Photo. So I would love to have seen what they look like. I guess I could look online, but I want to see Barbara Schenker. I picture her with this little thin mustache. But it's interesting. It's a little primitive. It's 81. And he's got a real rough voice. The song The Bitch, the opening track, it's not all great, but it's heavy metal and it's early and it's a little off because it's German. But fun record, and I got it for fairly cheap. And you know what? Since that side ended, the Running Wild, I'm going to throw on this Trance record real quick. Okay, sorry about that. And what else did I get? Okay, speaking of bands that are named after songs of other bands, that's Trance, clearly a Scorpions band. This is Stormbringer, and what were they? Were they German or... Oh, golly gee, are they Swiss? Oh, they're Switzerland. That's right, they're a Swiss band. See, I got German names, Italian names, and this is a total rainbow band, except the guitar player is not as good. And this is... oh geez, I'd say about 83. Yeah, 83. So they're not rainbow like the Dio era. They're like more like the Graham Bonnet era. So they kind of came out around the same time. And I'll need to listen to this record again. And it's on Madrigal. I had to flip that's upside down, but the name of the label is Madrigal. I think it is. And it's not great, you know, it's got the keyboards. One song, if I remember, is like a Child in Time kind of rip-off. If you look, total Richie Blackmore there with his Strat and Marshalls. And there's my Graham Bonnet. And it's a decent record, I need to listen to it, but there's one song, Lady of the Sky, which right out, first listen, it said, this is a great tune. So listen. It sounds like the Scorpions, but, you know, Marky Ramone on drums. Bam, bam, ba-bam, ba-bam, bam, ba-bam. Really good. And now I'll go with my final band that's named after another band's album or song, and this is Restless. And this clearly, name of that album's Heart Attack. And this will be my Accept band, and there it is. And there's my low budget Udo Dirkschneider. He's like got the work overalls on, the pullovers, and this guy's great too. Another one of those bands that hire the coke dealer. But I love that's like a lost piece of clothing, the work overalls. You know, you used to have that, I think, like Paul Sampson, Eddie Van Halen. I could see Phil Mogg would wear them. And probably was a really cool piece of clothing until that guy from the Police wore them, and everyone's like, oh, no more. But real comedy version of Accept, and great singing. And not every track is great, but I think Fire Train, the opener, and there's a couple of other really good ones. And this is a great record. Oh yeah, this guy's good too. It's like Adrienne Barbeau. What's that chick? Yeah, it looks like Adrienne Barbeau. But really good record. Really fun record. I can't say it's really good, but it's like Accept Junior. Then I grabbed this record only because it's been on my list just because of the cover. This is early Shrapnel, Wild Dogs from Cleveland. And one of the greatest covers, and just like the bad font. You know, this might as well be like Metal Blade, but Shrapnel. And it's just run-of-the-mill, mid-'80s, not-so-hot American heavy metal, U.S. metal. And it's good to have. This is a killer cover. And I also had the third record. That was the second record. This is the third record I had it, and this was much better, much more modern sounding. Not thrash metal, much faster, aggressive, and they definitely have like almost a German influence on it too, a little Accept-ish. And this is them, and they're on Enigma now, Music for Nations. Oh yeah, it's got a nice, really beautiful Music for Nations label. But this is a pretty decent record, that one. The other one's alright. And I also picked up Wildfire, and I was happy to score these out in the wild. They weren't expensive, but they weren't really cheap, but there was nothing I paid more than like $19 for. You know, so most of them about like $10 or something. But I just can't get them. You order it, pay shipping, and am I really going out of my way to get Wildfire? Brute Force and Ignorance. This is on Mausoleum. Productions, I remember it being pretty lousy. Mausoleum, we know what the label looks like, but you can't look at it too many times. But Wildfire features Paul Mario Day on vocals, who was, I don't know if he's the original, but he was one of the first Iron Maiden vocalists, and he went on and did the first More record, which is pretty good. Not as good as the second More record, which he quit before, but Paul Mario Day. And we got another necktie. And it's very British, and this also is a very rainbow sounding record. With not a great guitar, if I remember. And some of these other guys, I can't remember. Martin Bushell, Jeff Brown, Bruce Beisland, they were from other bands. I know those names. I probably remember when I looked it up, but they're from other New Wave of British heavy metal bands, the Rhythm Section. Not quite a super group, but, you know, I don't know what you want to call it. Not a great record, kind of forgettable, but they are going for a bit of rainbow. And glad to have it. I think Paul Mario Day also went on to play with like some bad versions of Andy Scott's Sweet. And I think I saw one of those records years ago and didn't grab it. And then, what else I grabbed? I got this for $7.99, Rose Tattoo. Their first album, I think this is French. Carrier Records, this is the French pressing. And if you don't know this record, and I imagine most people do, but I have to say this is one of the greatest like rock and roll records or hard rock records. This one, along with their second album. The third one is alright, but the first two Rose Tattoo records are almost mandatory. And I grabbed this because it's different than my British pressing. This is my British one. Exact same tracks, but different live shot, same songs. And this one will be on, oh, this is the French one, sorry. This is the French one. This is the one I bought. This is the one I had. So I had the British one. They're both from like, I think the record came out originally in 78, and this is 1980, and this might be 1981. They took a while, like AC/DC took a while to get to Civilization. But Rose Tattoo, I can't tell you how great those two records are. And that's about it that I'm going to show for my haul. I got this is like a box. I just need to fill a hole. Return to Fantasy. This is near the. It's a great record, but it's near the end of the greatness of Heat. And the condition's so-so, but to fill in the gap for I think 99 cents. And who's the bass player? Yeah, John Wetton's the bass player. I think Gary Thane was still alive, but he left the band. He died, I think, shortly after. Then I grabbed this Chastain record. I've not listened to this. And the Chick Singer, this CJSS. I got a few of those, $5.99. And this was sitting there since 2014, and it's over a sticker. So this was there for like 3 years. No one bought it. So it kind of was like untouched out in the wild. And if you look at Chastain, I don't know if that's a wig or anything, but even on the other albums I have, it looks just like this. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it, he looks just like Rick Mail as Colin up there in Bad News. But I haven't listened to that, but I filed away. And I think that's it. Only other thing I'll show, I got this 10-inch Dictators. It's got some alternate tracks, and they were reproduced, remixed by Andrew W.K., who I know who he is, but I don't care about him, but it was on sale, and different tracks, and then there was another song, an unreleased song, Backstreet Boogie, so more Dictators, and it's produced a lot more heavier, obviously, guitars up front, and it's fun. I got this for $10. And then, this isn't really metal, some of the stuff I bought wasn't metal, but Hustler record, 70s hard rock band, put out 2 albums from England. I think they were like real Cockney kind of East End band. I could be wrong on that, but a little bit. Sometimes they're hit or miss with the tracks. Sometimes they sound like Bad Company on the first album, which is better than this one. Sometimes they sound a little funkish, like I don't know, like there's a glam bit in there, like I think of Ian Lloyd in the Stories or something, but it reminds me of AC/DC in a way, or Status Quo, because they have a lot of boogie rock on there. It's not heavy, I don't want to push this record, but I was happy to get it. And the first album has a couple killer tracks, this one has a couple of cool tracks, but I've never seen this in America, just sitting in the wild, and it was 99 cents, so I was thrilled. And that's about it. I was upstate New York, and I just want to say, I know the election's going on, and we drove past like Rochester and Cortland, New York, and a bunch of places, and I did see like a bunch of Dio 2016 signs up, so I think the movement's getting strong for Dio for president, so hang in there, guys, and thanks for watching. I'll try to catch up with all of you.